Bill, how are you?
Good. All right. Soon here? Yeah. Just 8 weeks ago, this past Monday. So. All right. Good news. Okay. Cool. Hey, Chris.
What's up?
No, because I reached out and I
You
told.
look great.
Thanks.
How you feeling? Good?
Because I told them we were here. For
Right.
days. And so I was like, we're here.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Bunch of we were.
For the non-July
How's
meeting,
your
I have
schooling going?
Good.
Hey, what's up?
Passed my first class. All set.
How many hours are on together?
I have one in-person class in the fall, one in-person class in the spring.
Long time. Oh, not bad.
Like,
Probably when we're trying to win. Yeah, we're not.
Right, you know it.
I busted some. Who do you report?
We don't even have a new thing. We should probably, is this a lot of us?
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of us. Yeah.
When you done? When you're done, I'll get a file.
Yeah.
So I think this part one, have everybody involved, so I don't know how.
How do you want to do that? This room's not really shaped for that.
Yeah, it's important. How are you?
Who's coming?
I think you're the board,
Yeah.
and then whoever from the planning comes. Chris is here.
How are you? I didn't know it was important.
Yeah, it's discussion.
I mean, I would just say just include them. They're sitting right
Okay,
there.
all right.
Yeah, you're fine.
What do you want to do?
Hey, Bill. Hey, Nick. Yeah?
Is there enough copies for everyone? Yeah, we'll do it in executive session.
You guys don't have one of these?
No, we haven't.
Hey, how are you?
And this is the older one from 2 years ago?
Chris, nice to see you. Hope you're having a good summer.
Do you want me to hand out the Bible?
First thing, it-
A lot of sports.
well, it was 2 years ago. It's just for information.
Teresa, the bylaws, one is red line, one is clean?
Yes.
Okay.
Just an update before you guys start. You do have 5 applicants and I have their applications ready.
So maybe we'll,
One red line, one
because
blue.
I'm guessing the
One
LPM
red
could
line,
be
one
shared.
blue.
Yeah, I would wait, so I
Yeah.
would say I would table that and give it a couple more weeks, because it's literally we just shared today, and we got 4 more.
Yeah, and 2 of them are people that I just sent, so I'm guessing.
Alright, give those to Joe, one red line, one clean. Chris,
I think I got mine already.
you have yours, and
I
that's
got
yours.
it.
Well, that's full set.
And is Katie joining us?
I'm joining her
Right
now.
next door to Kristen on the computer, and Chris Koch is here
Okay.
in person.
Hey, Chris.
How are you?
Good.
Hey, Katie.
Hi everyone, how are you?
Just making sure you can hear us. Chris Koch is here in
Okay.
person.
Thanks, Kristen, I appreciate it.
Got it.
All right, so it is 5:02, 5:01. So we'll call the meeting order 5:01. So I had gone to a couple of the towns' building needs committee. They want to move ahead with the Vanel renovations, but not 100% sure to what level. So I wanted to get everybody together, the planning committee, the principals from the 2 high schools, and just talk about kind of what we want that to look like. I'm also gonna, and I'll explain in a minute my like crazy idea, but what we do now at Vanel is gonna have an impact for the next 30 years. So we either stay where we're at and continue in that vein, or make a change. And to that point, and this is just for discussion at this point, the 1 high school. combine the two high schools. And my thought is something along the lines of, and it might just be totally insane, but something along the lines of a single high school campus up where Benal is, take the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, put them into Stratford High. That would give you the ability to close down Worcester and Flood, and probably one of the elementary schools, because now you put the 6th graders out. Take the elementary school, pull that into a full-time pre-K, because we have, a growing need for that. Take one of the elementary schools and turn it into like an outplacement type, tuition type program, and then give the other one back to the town, whatever it may be. I think we could save a ton of money, but again, you'd have to get support. It's a long-winded process, but now's the time to talk about it. If we don't talk about it now, it'll never get talked about again. So anyway, just figured I'd open up for discussion and see what. And so we have with us Katie Raff from Benal. We have Jack Delpiano from Stratford High. We have Chris Cock from Benal, and we have Prez Palmer, who's a member of Plant Planning. I did invite all the entire Plant Planning and both the high schools and whatever delegates they decided, because I thought it would be important to have everybody involved in the conversation. What the town had asked us to do, building needs, is send us over a recommendation, and they would take that into account as they move forward with the.
A recommendation in the lines of what?
Basically, kind of what we might want to do at Benal if we go with a renovation. Is this, do we want to look at the possibility of a single high school as part of the feasibility study? Or is it just stick with a renovation and move forward? We had the meeting the other day, and he kind of talked about the time frame. It's not going to happen overnight. So best case scenario, we wouldn't be getting a shovel in the ground until 2028. So, but there's a process. The process we start now is the process that will take us till 2028. So it's not like we have plenty of time to figure out what we want to do. We need to now figure out what we want to do, and then start it, and through all the different turns and iterations through the state and whatever it may be, it's going to take us that long to get something started. But whatever we start now, or whatever the council starts now and the mayor starts now, is what's going to end up happening in 2028.
So the feasibility study is going forward.
It hasn't started yet. They're waiting for a recommendation from us.
So we need to decide what we want to look at in that feasibility
Yeah, I
study.
think you have two. So first I'm gonna set the stage that the district is here to run the best district we can, regardless of how the town or board decides to build or renovate buildings, right? Our job is just to do the best we can with what we have. We always work within the existing buildings that are here. But really, we renovated a high school. If you renovate the now like new, as a town, you are committing to 2 high schools, including funding 2 high schools for a very long time, because you've just now renovated them, right? So if there is a time to have a discussion, it probably is now, to stop and say, do you want a district-wide feasibility study to say your most cost-effective and efficient setup of schools is maybe 1 high school, 1 middle school, X elementary schools, X repurposed buildings. Everyone can have an idea of what they think is right, but a true feasibility study for the district would tell you what your most cost-effective and possibly efficient educational system is. You do need to know and recognize that, if we continue on this path, really what you're setting yourself up to do is have to renovate like new for all of your buildings every few years, because we know flood is, what do they call it, tired, right? We know Worcester needs some renovations, and some of your elementary schools are pretty old. So it's really a matter of whether what you think is right. I also know it's a very sensitive topic in this town, and it's very emotional. So the right thing might be to keep 2 high schools. That might be not the most cost-effective thing, but it might be what this town wants. Our job is to run your best setup. Your job is to have those discussions to figure out the best way to go. You just have to know that if you jump right in right now and make that decision, that feasibility study, renovate Benal, you're now committing, because you just sunk millions of dollars into 2 high schools.
And the
I don't think we can make that kind of decision without a town feasibility study, a townwide feasibility study.
But that would then be your recommendation, right? You're discussing what kind of feasibility study you're doing. Are we feasibility studying just Benal to renovate like new, or are you asking a company to come in and do a town-wide feasibility study?
So, and I would think that, okay, just as soon as I finish, my thought would be that we would, A, look at what it would take to renovate Bunnell, but B, what would be the pitfalls or the successes of the one high school scenario. And again, it might come out, it doesn't matter, the public is gonna say no, like across the board, they always do, they always say no to change. So,
But I think we need the feasibility study to back it.
but we need a feasibility study to look at, is it realistic, is it a cost saving scenario, can we provide a better environment? You know,
We know we need to renovate Bunnell,
Yes.
like, can we let Katie?
Yeah, Katie, go ahead.
Go ahead, Katie.
Oh, thank you very much. I agree that the feasibility study needs to include both scenarios. However, at the end of that meeting last month, Brian made it sound like if we were to add option B, if you want to call that, going to one high school into the feasibility study, that would be quote unquote a whole new ball game, and that could push it out to 2029. I'm not saying that's not a reason to not do it, but just know that his feasibility study and that timeline was based on just renovating Bunnell, not looking at all the other scenarios. So then we would look at putting a shovel in the ground in summer 2029. According to him, that could change based on, other contractors.
I mean, I think.
And when you look at
But I
both
think you
studies,
can-
that might be your deciding factor, right? It might be, no, we're not willing to wait, and we wanna just renovate Bunnell.
I'd rather do it right.
But-
Kick
So
something
Katie,
off
I
that
think
chair.
too, right, when he laid out the timeframes to get that shovel in the ground in 2028 would require, impeccable timing.
Yeah.
There was basically, the plans would need to be designed, so that when we got the approval, that, everything would need to be done preemptively to get to that point. More than likely, it's.
2029.
2029 is probably
2029 anyway.
more the realistic, I mean, it could happen sooner, but there would.
Yep, fair enough.
Yeah.
And I do think during the feasibility study, I would strongly recommend that you get voice from the community. Now, mind you should be well aware, right? Milford just did this and everyone in the community said no, and Wallingford did it and everyone said no, because change is hard.
I think we do the feasibility study first, so we have the information, and then we open it up to public forum and let the town speak on it. Again, people are gonna say no, because that's the way it is, they just don't like it out here, so.
Chris?
So I'm understanding that we are evaluating if we should do a feasibility study for the purpose of just the renovation of Bunnell, or a comprehensive study to evaluate if we can go the further route of the one high school, just evaluation of the total systematic, process.
I think we wanna do both, right? Like, we know Bunnell needs to be renovated, so we wanna make sure that that gets done in case the overwhelming decision is that we're sticking with two high schools. But in addition, I think what the board would like to hear is, well, what would be the best, most efficient setup that we could do, and what would be that recommendation?
And this feasibility study will reveal how it would impact us systemically, correct?
Right.
And the other part is that, like, when we originally did the feasibility study for Stratford High, we looked at, our thought was, let's look at the existing structure. They went in and they realized that one half of the building was an older build, and it was a 100% gone. And the other half was fairly well gone, but it would be very expensive to try to maintain that school, the pipes underground, a whole bunch of stuff. So after that feasibility study, it became the reality that school has to be demolished and rebuilt. But it wasn't until and they might look at Bunnell and say the same thing, who knows, and at that point, maybe,
Yes, so the timeline that was proposed in the last meeting was a construction document, summer 2027, with a proposal to start in 2028, summer 2028. So not the year after, it was 2028, if we can meet this, I guess he called it moderately aggressive timeline.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we would be in 2028, so I don't know what the double study that sets us back then further, I'm not sure.
Chris?
Two questions. The assessment you just gave us from 2020, the beginning of 2022, looks like they were estimating the renovations of Bunnell at what, about 20 million back then?
That was just straight renovation
Just
though,
straight.
it wasn't,
We've also
It
been
wasn't
putting
great.
off.
So it was just fixing a lot of the
Yeah.
old mechanicals and things, okay.
yeah.
My other question is, if we went with a single high school and closed Stratford High as a high school and turned it into middle school, are there any ramifications for any of the grants, or any funding we received when we built it as a high school?
It's a great question.
Yeah,
It's multiple years in. How many years are you in already, Jack?
well, 5 in the meantime.
So we would be beyond the grant.
We would beyond that, yeah. It was at 7 years, right, Heather?
I think the one question I would ask is, if I may, is, I don't know the current 6th grade numbers, but I'm not sure 6th, 7th, and 8th grade could feasibly fit in the current Stratford High building.
Again, that's why I do the study.
Right.
Jill?
It's declining enrollment right now, so it's.
Surprisingly, I agree with you on this, and this is something that Heather and I have been talking about every time we go out and tour the buildings, because I think that this would be a great thing for the town. Eventually, I think people are gonna have to really get used to the idea, but it saves us money in a lot of different areas.
It allows us to be stronger too.
It allows us to be stronger,
Yeah.
it gives us a great sports team, to have a lot of really desirable things, and I know it's difficult for towns. And then you think it's a large town, oh, we can't do this, but you could look at a comparison town like Hamden has one high school. A lot of towns have one high school. I came from a town with one high school, and we had a camaraderie. It wasn't divisive as it is right now, so I really think it's a great idea. I think Heather and I talked through a lot of the different scenarios that would be an asset to us and some of the strengths that we can pull from. We can develop our CTE programs and have more pathways. With the right space for that, we can really think about what we're doing with those pathways, and that's a program that continues to grow, so if we can look at that
And maybe those, I mean, with the way Stratford High is set up, if that's the way it was to go,
We can
it's
continue
already
into
set up for a
middle
lot of those
school.
pathways, and we can push it down into middle school.
Yes, into middle school. So there's a lot of opportunity there. Also with transportation, Vanilla is very centrally located in our town. It's right in the middle of the north and the south. And a lot of high schoolers drive, so that would help with our situation, yeah, with busing. So all those things are great. I think that this is a good opportunity to do this right now. I mean, 1 year versus 30 years, I think we wait that 1 year if that's the reason we're holding up for that one thing, because we wanna make sure we're doing this right, like Kristen had just said. So I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to discuss this. One thing I never brought to my attention was the elementary schools, eliminating elementary schools and giving back to the town. I never heard that part. So can you elaborate a little more on what schools you were thinking and which ones would be?
I don't think that it would be good to like talk about that further until somebody came in as a feasibility and said it would be worth it. I think what, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm guessing that this is what you meant, is that when you're shifting students, you're lowering numbers, right? So if the 6th graders can move to Stratford High, the elementary numbers are now lower. So do we want to keep paying for all those buildings, or do you want to consolidate, you know, what?
But maybe it's just 7th and 8th moving to the
I mean, I
middle
think
school, we don't know.
everyone, I think
Okay, I was
everyone,
just wondering, because I hadn't heard
yeah,
that.
I think
didn't know.
everyone could probably agree that, you know, flood is a really hard building to keep running. So if we were to give a building back, it'd probably be the one I would recommend you guys give back, just because it's a very challenging
That was my next point.
building.
The flood, if flood loses their air conditioning for any reason, HVAC, they can't operate because there's no window access, no air ventilation. So anytime that goes down, it creates a big problem.
It's a skating rink.
So I read through my entire feasibility study, which I loved, and I think that every new board member should get this because I think it's really important to know what's going on in our buildings and where they are currently. Assess that, and we should keep this up, so if something gets done, we take it off of this, so we have an updated copy. I talked to Ms. Hughes yesterday, and she says she has something like that, so I think that would be good to give out to the whole board. Yeah.
They do. She does. I think it's just more about having, if you're gonna do a feasibility study district-wide, it's having somebody who's an outsider, who's not emotional. Because this is a really emotional thing. I mean, listen, people in Milford are not happy right now that they're going one high school. Wallingford is, you know, really struggling
Milford vote
with that
for that?
concept. They did, and so did Wallingford. But Milford has to buy land, I believe, or something, there's something that's gonna make it longer. But regardless, it's a very emotional process that is, can be extremely challenging, and it has been brought up in the past in Stratford, and I don't think it's been welcomed with open arms, so I think it's something you touch with kid gloves. But I think it's more about having somebody from the outside come in and look at all of our buildings, our current structures, their current state of functionality, which ones are on their way out, which ones can be saved and renovated, and then recommendations get made that this, you know, and they don't have to do the population ones, we've already done it, right? So we know what our enrollment's gonna be, so that can get added into it, that this would be your most cost-effective and efficient recommendation for your current buildings. We're obviously not gonna keep buildings we don't need, right? So those would get returned to the town, if there were any that were not savable. I don't know.
Or not needed, just not needed.
Or not needed.
But-
I love the pool, but I don't know how we're gonna save flood in a few years, right? Like, we know we're gonna have to do some significant renovations there too.
Well, and you mentioned the HVAC, we did that, I think 2023, and it was a Band-Aid approach at that point, and the comment was, you know, we're using Band-Aid, we're using rubber bands and Band-Aids, can't get the parts anymore, and we made the decision, we moved ahead with it, but it's 20 years now, and the life cycle on those is.
Your report says it was 24 years old, or 23 years old when this report was done, so
Yeah.
it's coming up on 30
Listen,
now.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah, it was
if you
20.
do the
Right.
study.
To Mike's point, the HVAC, what Mike's talking about is, there was a grant for HVAC systems and cleaner things, and we went for it and we got it, and that's when they did it, what, 2 years ago?
No, I'm talking about 2003.
No, but-
We did something else, yes.
Right, the
We did.
HVAC system and flood 2 years ago through it.
Katie, do you have another question?
The worst case scenario is, you know, you do the feasibility study to get Benel started. We do the feasibility study to get a whole view of the town. We decide it's not, you know, emotionally appropriate for our town, and we stick with the same model. It doesn't hurt you.
But I think it should be a comprehensive study, not just of the one building, but a facility study, so we can look 20, 30 years down the road, because again, if we go the path we're on, if we stick with the path we're on now,
Right.
we're stuck in this path for 30 years ago. And it might be very cost ineffective way. So I think we have an opportunity to at least look and say, hey, we can provide some serious savings and some serious savings to the town and some serious opportunities to our students that we might not have if we continue on our continued path. And it might come out that, no, we're on the best path possible, stick to it. But unless we have some questions and we you know, look at the details, then we'll never know.
I think we have to do both routes. We know Benel needs to be renovated, so a feasibility study is just a step in the right direction, I guess, for getting that done, but, you know, either way, Benel is part of that, and we need to see the whole picture if we're going to think of another route, and like Heather said, 30 years is a long time.
And flood is right behind it.
Right.
Flood's right down.
And a lot of our buildings are old, maybe going that route and combining to one high school and this and that, maybe that affords more renovations to some of the other buildings too. So, you know, I think we have to look at it all, or we have to at least start the ball rolling to get it looked at, so it's there. You know, again, none of that will move quickly, but I don't think we have a choice but to look at it all.
And I think too, what Sue Schmidt will explain at our August meeting, is that our Vicky Soto, building is a self-funding, correct?
To an extent, so, I mean, there are things that the district pays for, but because, you know, we've increased readiness numbers and revenue on that, so that building, you know, does, in essence, pay for itself, you know, through their staff and through tuition and all of those pieces. That's not necessarily how it's gonna stay though, Mike, because the state toys every year, right, with making preschool mandatory and, you know, preschool for everyone free, which then means it wouldn't get cost, you know, that we are picking up. So I wouldn't go too much on that, but yes, it's functioning very well. We were able to get a lot more seats from the state, who's requested them, got them, so, you know, we're in good shape.
But if we were able to create a model like Vicky Soto in another elementary school, then that would take that elementary school off the town's books because it's
And I
paying
think
for
the bigger
itself.
problem is we don't have enough preschool. So
Right.
if there was a way to free up more buildings to say, okay, this can be our 4-year-old preschool, that would be appropriate.
Or fit the 4-year-olds in the
I was gonna say,
elementary, their
exactly.
neighborhood elementary school.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And
And
if we
don't
were
get
able
rid
to
of
free up
elementary
space to
school,
do
which is
something,
sad.
it would be helpful. We have
Yeah.
125 to 150 kids on a waiting list for preschool all the time, all the time.
Yeah.
So,
But we don't close it, then we don't close an elementary school or 2 elementary schools, and we put pre-K in there instead.
maybe it's just flooding, it doesn't get
Right.
put that on the map.
But it is looking at all those parts and pieces and
Sure.
what makes it, I think.
And I think that's what these companies get paid for.
Yeah.
You know, they come in and do those studies, they give you recommendations. I mean, I think nobody's disagreeing, Benel needs to be renovated. So, like I said, if the conversation goes nowhere, you're still set up to renovate Benel. They can't say how it is.
Right.
Katie, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, thank you, I agree, we need to look at all of the options, regardless of whether or not it extends our timeline, and I just thank everybody for their support of Benel and getting this ball moving, thank you.
So, does anybody have anything else? Bill?
Well, I think, I'm thinking back to, I think before the renovation of Stratford High, a lot of students said we should have one high school, and they suggested the Army engine plant, but that, I think students would support this. I think it's the adults that would be against it. But benefit
It's
definitely.
nostalgic.
How many of you graduated from one of these schools? Put your hand up, yep, there you go, Jack, Perez, Jill.
But I think too, the great benefit, finally get rid of flood, because flood's gotta go, or it's gonna cost us more and more money over the years. And the projections over the next 5 to 10 years, population going down, or student population.
It's kind of
So,
We have a declining enrollment projection.
Minimal decline, but still.
All of
but
these
still
buildings are
declining.
going to start costing us more and
Yep.
more as we go, because
They
they are
said
all
20 to
in
30
disarray.
years. Yeah, 20 to 30 years, all our buildings are over that, so I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah.
so even if it doesn't happen, I think you're right, this is the time to look at it.
At least get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
So it sounds like that the recommendation we would want to make to the town that we engage in the feasibility study, and that feasibility has two parts, a comprehensive look at our buildings and the potential for one high school district, and how we might best use our current buildings in that overall plan. And then part A, well, I guess that would be part B, but part A would be what it's gonna take to renovate the now. Is that? Yeah, you guys all, Katie, yeah? All right, so
You
I,
need to move for it, you need a motion.
yeah, so I would take a motion to send to the Building Needs Committee the recommendation of this body.
I would call it a comprehensive feasibility study that has two parts, part A, Benel High School, part B, district-wide feasibility and effective use.
And the effective use and the potential of a single high school district. Motion by Mr. Cormier,
Second.
second by Mr. Dell. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Get ready to have some fun, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Katie.
Katie.
Hi, Katie.
Good luck to your child's softball.
Thank
So is
you.
that what
How's
you
she,
got?
how's she doing?
They're good, they're 2-0, and they're about to play in about 20 minutes.
Nice.
It's
Well, good
so
luck.
beautiful here, yeah.
I'd say
But
good luck.
appreciate you letting me join remotely.
I'd say
and,
good luck tonight, but I think it's only 2 o'clock there, so.
Yeah, 2:26.
Good luck.
Good luck, have fun.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
See you soon. Bye.
All right, so if anybody who wants to stick around, we're jumping into bylaws.
Stick around, guys. See you later.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for coming, appreciate it. And before we just end this, I know we've been through a lot of different discussions, planning. This is an ongoing, so I just want to thank everybody for all their commitment to this, all the discussion, all their input. It's been productive, and hopefully, I think at the end of the day, the intent is to have the best educational system at the most fiscally responsible price for our town and for our students. So I think this is just a good thing. But again, everybody's input is going to be instrumental in where we go from here. So you guys who are sticking on the board, we'll kind of be seeing this through as it goes through, and hopefully some of us will be able to have some input, but I would encourage everybody to keep the entire group involved in those conversations, both the, you know, the administrative staffs, the high schools, the public, whatever it is, but, yeah, so good luck with that in your years to come. All right, so we're gonna jump into bylaws. I think we had, Jill had asked for some clarifications on the committees, the standing committees, and I think we've received all of those. I think the policy committee we had. Did you get over is the personnel committee in here now?
I don't think so.
Okay. And then you guys did athletic review.
Yeah, can you pass that? Which, that's the athletic one.
That's policy, that's athletic review. And I think we got these last time, or at least the draft of them. And then this is policy.
Thank you.
One more of them.
What do you need, one more?
Athletic.
Harrison.
So, do you have your personnel? Okay. Do you want to just read it? That's what I do. So we've had these other two a little bit ahead of time. Kristen will read, and hopefully we can just make a single motion to add those into the.
So for personnel,
That was the one you sent me a little while ago, a while back. Is that what your final? Or do you wanna have three?
go to the other two first, go over those first.
All right, well, the other two we've had, so, well, if you want, I can read them, but, the Board of Ed, so the Policy Committee, the Board of Ed Policy Committee's primary responsibility are to review and improve recommended policies, regulations, consistent with mission of the Board of Education, evaluate policies to ensure consistency with federal and state laws, and recommend areas for which Board of Ed should consider adopting policies. The Policy Committee should seek to review all policies at a minimum of 5 years to ensure that the policies advance educational environment and the optimal learning goal, reflect best practices, and are consistent with district initiatives. The Policy Committee will seek consultation with superintendent, staff, and board attorney. The Policy Committee meets monthly and is open to the public. And that was put together by the Policy Committee and sent over with a favorable recommendation. And Sean, I don't know if you want to maybe, or Lisa.
Yeah,
what do you
I
want?
can do, and then as you guys had it, as this was, you guys had part of this last time, I'll just read a little bit. The Stratford Board of Education Athletic Review Subcommittee is committed to overseeing and enhancing the quality, fairness, and accessibility of the athletic programs within the school district. We ensure that all programs align with the educational goals and values of the Stratford Board of Education, promoting a culture of quality and fairness. And then a lot of this was just, you know, when we were first talking about this, it was really just looking, because we never really had a lot of roles and responsibilities, so, you know, when we're working on this, we could, you know, really look back at what we've done in the past couple of years. So that's kind of how some of these bullet points were driven.
So the Personnel Committee, we had some discussions over that. The Personnel Committee advises the board on matters relating to personnel policies and practices, compensation, benefits, labor relations, collective bargaining, employee relations, staffing, and organizational structure as needed. The committee may review and discuss non-confidential policy level matters that impact staffing frameworks, recruitment strategy, and policy. Administrative responsibilities would remain with the superintendent. Personnel committee meetings are held as needed to discuss workforce matters such as administrative appointments, current postings, negotiation updates, staff issues, future staffing, potential non-renewals, and more. The Personnel Committee may review and recommend updates to district personnel policies, discuss staffing trends and workforce planning shared by the superintendent or HR department, receive briefings on contract negotiations, and staffing development where appropriate. The Personnel Committee will not make individual hiring decisions or decisions regarding rehired lists, make decisions regarding grievances or personnel matters. Any discussions regarding these matters are for informational purposes only. Negotiate union contracts. A board member from this committee should be involved in union negotiations with council and other administrative representatives, and review personnel files or any disciplinary actions.
And you work on that?
Lisa and Jim?
Okay. So that was from the personnel committee?
Mhm.
Okay. So if nobody has any other comment on those, I'd just like to maybe take a motion to add those three.
So it'll be added to 9132C, where she left it on page 18.
Where she left the orange comment, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Jill, since that was
I will
your-
make a motion to add the three committees, the athletic review, the policy review, and the personnel committee briefings to 9132C, page 18.
Okay, underneath,
Yes.
Yep. Just second, Mr. Kennedy, any further discussion?
Yeah, and the policy committee, in the fifth sentence, there's the word "that" twice, back to back. To ensure that,
Oh, okay.
see that?
Yep,
Yeah.
so we
Good
can,
job, Mr. O'Brien, coming in sharp.
if we could just.
That's our
we should
brains,
remove
that's
the
our brains
double.
correcting it for us and not even noticing it.
And I read that twice. Didn't even see it.
It's just on our athletic review thing, we had put in specific metrics, but didn't like put in what the specific metrics are. So if we just wanted to eliminate that.
Yeah.
Or,
I'm okay with that.
so that it read, collect and analyze data on participation rates, performance outcomes, to assess the effectiveness of athletic programming. So remove under that number 5, assessment and reporting, and other relevant metrics such as,
You're taking that part out?
yes,
So which one, that's at the bottom?
and number 5.
Okay.
You can take out just such as specific measures.
Right.
Oh, and one other thing on there, it goes from 7 to 9? Yeah, okay.
Yep.
So then the motion to amend would be just to clear up the grammatical changes and to remove number 5 from, what's the title of your committee? Athletic review, and to switch the numbers so they're in numerical order. Jill, you wanna make a motion to amend?
Make a motion to amend.
Second by Mr. Kennedy, any discussion on the amendments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passed unanimously. Any other discussion on the 3 items? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passed unanimously. So we'll add those through to bylaws. I've got some stuff. Does anybody have any other comments or thoughts on what we have? On just the document in general?
I think I have one or two things to.
Go ahead.
First, one of my concerns is regarding 9121.
What page is that?
That's just the new one in the update. Okay. It's the chair. It's our.
The chairperson?
Right.
What page?
10.
We got
It's
pages.
not gonna be the same.
And then they just handed out, so the copy I had wasn't numbered originally, so.
Okay.
So 9121, concerned. And I can't find where it was. There's a point where where it was revised to say, all present members must vote unless a legitimate conflict is declared and accepted by the chairperson.
Yep.
That is that's gonna be that makes the chair a gatekeeper of ethical recusals. So it undermines conflict of interest standards. So I think that it should be the gatekeeper. If somebody says if I have a conflict, it should be assumed that the conflict is
I hear what you're saying, and I would disagree only to the extent, and it can go either way, whatever, but I would only disagree to the extent that, that's, you know, the chairman runs the meeting, keeps the order, he is the gatekeeper, or she is the gatekeeper. So to just say I have a conflict, because I don't feel like, my conflict is I don't feel like voting, you know? We're elected to vote, in my opinion, so.
We're gonna, that's another one of my concerns, so.
Somebody has to, you know, run the meeting and whatever, and I think, you know, we should all vote on everything, so.
I don't see that in here.
No, that's back in the
yeah,
parliamentary,
yeah.
which is, I think it's page 36. Parliamentary is 36, yeah. Let's see. All present members must vote on all matters unless a legitimate conflict is declared and accepted by the chairperson.
Yeah, that's Robert's rules.
No, it's actually against Robert's rules. It violates Robert's rules, it violates Cape's governance guidelines, and it violates Connecticut's FOIA.
I think it's in Robert's.
I think it's in Robert's rules.
Members are never, according to Robert's Rules of Order, 12th edition, members are never required to vote. Robert's Rules of Order explicitly allows abstentions.
Yeah, you can abstain, but you just need to declare.
You need to declare why, but it's not, you need to declare why, and the chair gets to decide if they accept that.
And it's not just you and Mr. Howard is chair, it's if Jill is chair, or if Sean is chair. Right, or if anyone is chair, as professionals on this committee, we need to have that option to say, yeah, I feel I have a conflict here, I'm going to abstain.
I think, doesn't an abstention count
It must be
as a
recorded.
weigh-in?
An abstention has to be recorded, you can't also.
So it counts as a vote?
It counts, it has to be recorded.
Right.
So abstention is a valid position, it must be recorded, especially in cases of ethical concerns or insufficient information. He was also talking about like they're not right. You were talking.
I hadn't gotten to that one.
Okay.
I mean, I think an abstention counts as a vote, because like you said, it does have to be recorded. I think this all presence, as a board member, you have to give a vote, whether it be a yay, a nay, or an abstention,
The only,
unless there is like a legit, like Mike walked out of a vote because he had a conflict with an employee or something along those lines. You know what I mean? Like that's.
the only thing Robert's rules says about either a non-vote, a non-response, is that it should be recorded as an abstention. It can't be recorded as a yes vote, which is one of the things that it's Robert's rules and state law don't allow silence to be counted as the affirmative. A non-response is either an abstention or an absence. It can't ethically or legally be assumed to be a yes.
Well, then you need to vocalize. I mean, so the attorneys did review this and they didn't have issue with it. So the legality of it, I think it's not it's just how we want to set this up moving forward.
Wait, what's the second? Where are you referring to the second one? I just want to read the
So,
language.
A non-response,
yes.
or a non-response vote is considered a vote in the affirmative. So,
fourth one, yeah. All votes must be a vocal vote. A non-response is considered a vote in the affirmative. And a non-response, according to Robert's rules, is an abstention. It can't be. A yes vote has to be recorded as a yes vote. If I'm not voting yes, you can't count me as a yes vote.
well, then you have to declare it as a no.
Or an abstention.
Well, again, the attorneys reviewed it and I would disagree with that.
Maybe the attorneys might have missed it, but
Well, we've had a pretty extensive discussion with them.
I'm not making it up.
No, I'm not saying you are. I'm just wondering if we're thinking different scenarios or.
And Robert's rules is the guideline. If we don't have explicit details or definitions within our bylaws, then we refer to Robert's rules, but Robert's rules is not the.
Well, state law also, but I don't have the state law, the designation, but I can find it but it's Robert's rules and state law.
That's just school law.
Hmm?
That's just school law. I don't think it's gonna be in there. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a more general statute. So abstentions are not considered as a vote. So majority would be based on those that voted. So if you abstained,
Recorded.
it has to be recorded, but it's not counted in the voting.
Right.
So majority still has to prevail. Majority of votes casted, so the abstention wouldn't count. Silence gives consent. Those who don't vote, abstain, effectively allow their vote to be not counted. Those who do not vocalize anything are considered an affirmative vote.
Which section is that? Do you have it?
I don't have the section number right here.
So, and a
That
couple.
violates under FOIA, a silent protest or ethical abstention.
That's,
So
that's an
not-
abstention,
But you
that's
can't-
different.
But a silent is not an affirmative vote. It's not assumed intent. You can't assume what someone's intending to vote if they don't say anything. And it could be a legal issue later on if you assume that the person was in favor of it because they didn't say anything, and they can come back and say, I didn't say that.
That's why all members should vote, so there is.
Yeah, it's, an
Or
abstention
abstain.
is one
Or
thing.
abstain.
Right, an abstention is one thing, and that's fine, but that's
But that's not
considered,
saying yours.
that's considered voting, though. It's just
But
your lack of
it's
vote.
saying
It's
that.
declaring your lack of vote. All votes must be vocal, so you either need to abstain, yay or nay.
But you're.
Well, it does say that,
And if there's something that,
All votes need to be yea or nay, but then it says a non-response is considered a vote in the affirmative.
correct,
Well,
silence
but
gives
if
consent.
the chair calls for a voice vote, and everybody says yes, and somebody is silent without, so if I say all those in favor, everybody says aye, all those opposed, nobody responds, that's recorded as a unanimous vote, a 7-0 vote. So you would need to say no, or it's a yes, because you did not clarify.
Wouldn't you usually ask any abstentions at the end of the?
I haven't, I don't know that we ever did on the
Here's the
council.
rules, okay? In Connecticut, according to state statute, if a Board of Education member is present but fails to vote, is silent, does not explicitly abstain, their vote is generally counted with the majority unless the board has adopted local bylaws that specify otherwise.
There we go.
And this also says that a board can create separate bylaws and that abstentions, all members who are present, quorum, majority. It says that abstentions are trying to see where I saw it, are while abstentions are to be discouraged, particularly in a small deliberative body, so there are occasions when an abstention is appropriate in a conflict situation.
It says if, according to Robert rules, silence does typically mean consent, and the vote is counted with the majority. However, BOE bylaws can override the Robert rules, so if you guys as bylaws choose something different, you can. But per state statute and per bylaws, if they say nothing, it goes with the majority.
You
So
know,
it doesn't
and
matter
it
if the
says-
majority's no or the majority's yes, it
It
goes
goes
with
with
that.
the majority, unless they say abstain, which they can.
Public officials are expected to clearly express their vote, yes, no, or abstain, so that it can be recorded and become part of public record. So,
And if you
yes,
abstain,
no, or
it's not
abstain
counted.
is one thing, you have to vocally.
And this is board bylaws may establish special voting requirements. You know, which is what this does, is to hold everybody responsible and accountable.
I don't think this actually goes against anything.
No.
So when we're taking a vote and you're gonna ask the whole board, you'll add the do you wanna abstain? Is there any abstentions? So every time it'll be yay,
Well, when we do
nay.
a roll call vote, you
Yeah.
have the choice to do an abstention.
Roll call, but I'm talking about when we do the entire,
Why not?
Because according to this, which just read correct, that you brought
Which part?
up, that the ability to abstain.
It just says that all votes must be vocal. A non-response is considered a vote in the affirmative.
No, there's another part.
You may wanna change affirmative to majority.
So that would be all
well,
right.
on this, Mr. Ford was really adamant saying the affirmative vote of 4, so across the board when we're doing this, in any means, so. like,
Yep.
Yeah,
Vote of 4.
So-
yeah,
Which it does say in here that.
it's not the majority present or the majority, yeah.
An
yeah.
affirmative vote of 4 is required for passage of all board members, for all board matters, 4 or more. Yeah.
Right, but in the case that out of 7 of us, 1 abstains, the majority is then still considered 4.
All board action takes a minimum of 4 votes to pass.
So, can I, where are we now? Can I make a,
Or where you let us.
okay, so no motions out there yet, right?
No.
So, I would like to make a motion to provide, to change, the 4th line, the 4th arrow down on page 36 of the updated bylaws, parliamentary procedures. All votes must be a vocal vote. A non-response is considered a vote in the affirmative of 4 or more.
4 or more is listed in the second.
Or do you
row.
want to just say a vote in the majority?
Yes.
Like that somebody brought up, if the majority says no, then you can speak up.
So that's both ways.
All right, so then,
I mean, we're all talking about this, the
A vote in- hold on a second.
the non-vote issue is not, we're looking at this in the future, because I don't think anybody here has ever not voted.
So,
but my only point with that is if again, I call all those in favor, everybody says yes, and then somebody says later, I voted no.
Jill-
But you didn't vocalize it, you are with the majority. You did, by not vocalizing it, you did vocalize it, unless you speak up and say no.
Jill
Or
was
yes.
right in that John Thorpe was extremely specific about the language being affirmative instead of majority. If there are only 5 members present, the majority becomes 3, not 4. So if we keep affirmative in there, it goes back to affirmative of 4. We can't go less than that, because if there's only 4 members here, that's still majority of the board here, then majority becomes 3. Do you see what I'm saying? So this majority of 4 protects everybody.
You're talking about the second line.
I'm talking about that number 4. We can't change affirmative to majority, because majority has different numbers depending on who's sitting in the room.
Well, but it says, so then I would say an affirmative vote of, on the second one, affirmative vote of 4 considered a majority is required for the passage of the board.
Not even considered majority, we can't determine that. Majority is the number of people sitting in the room, it's a different preference.
No, but we can say that for, well,
We could say a non-response is considered a vote. Well, again, according to FOIA, Freedom of Information Act rules and Robert's rules, implications of silence generally means
a vote with a majority.
a vote with majority.
Which could be negative.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so just
It
leave
could
it
be
as,
either way.
it would be a vote with a majority. A non-responsive vote is considered a vote with the majority. But if you don't have 4 votes, if somebody's silent and you only have 5 people here and 2 people say, 2 people say no and 1 person's silent, and so you're assuming then the vote's 3-2, it can't pass because you don't have 4 votes, even if the other person is silent. The intent of that is also to ensure that somebody can't go back later and say, no, I was silent, so I was voting no. No, if you don't, you know, if you want to be a no, or if you want to be in opposition to the majority, you have to vocalize it. Otherwise, you're counted in those few matters where we do just one single vocal vote. It says in here that, however, any member may request a roll call vote if the final tally isn't clear. In addition, all other matters will be done by a roll call vote. It says non-substantive matters can be done by a voice vote, but all other matters, or if somebody requests it, are done by a roll call vote. I mean, I have 20 years of doing this, and I've never not voted on. I've never abstained just because I don't think that's what we're elected to do. I'd rather voice my opposition, or.
You did abstain once. When we were voting on something with your family, it was the union contract.
Oh, I didn't abstain, I declared a conflict, which is
Okay.
different. And I voiced my conflict too.
Dissent is a vote, declaring a conflict means no vote.
You removed yourself from the vote because.
Correct.
It was in part really to a vote.
Yeah, we had, and we have something in here about the nepotism as well.
I thought we went with the town's nepotism policy.
We did.
Okay.
Yeah, but we referred to the
Yeah.
policy number in our, and we can change our policy to reflect the towns. Lisa, so you're okay with just all votes supposed to be a vocal vote, a non-responsive vote is considered a vote in the majority?
Is considered a vote with the majority.
In the majority, with the majority?
With the majority. With the majority.
So you wanna make a motion to change that? All right, motion, by Mr. Cormier to say that number 4 on parliamentary, all votes must be a vocal vote, non-response is considered a vote with the majority.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bedell, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
You forgot to say abstain.
So to that point, then, and I'm not opposed to it, do we want to amend this to say the chairman must request all yeas, nays, and abstentions for all votes?
I think we haven't needed it, but I think probably should.
Okay, so at the bottom of that, we'll add,
Last arrow.
we will say, the chairman,
Chairperson.
on all votes, the chairperson will, will request all yeas, nays, and abstentions.
Thank you. Second that?
I guess I made a motion. Second. Any other discussion?
Well, on the next page, doesn't it say that?
It already does say that.
Oh, it already says that, so we just.
Okay, so we don't need to put that in.
Strike that.
Thanks, Bill.
Do you want? Oh, that was your secret.
I'll pull back my second.
Okay. And again, it also says the next one, an affirmative vote of a majority of all board members duly recorded showing how each member voted shall be required in order to take action on the following subjects. And it's got a list of those things in there as well.
Okay.
Anything else? All right, so I've got a few things.
I do too.
Hold on.
Oh, no, go ahead, go through yours, yeah.
Okay, so the next one is, the last arrow, any member who wishes to have an item placed on the agenda will request the same from the chairperson. If the chairperson refuses, 3 members may submit a request to the recording secretary. I would like to, that doesn't give a timeline for when it will be placed on the agenda. Do you follow what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't give is it gonna be in 2 months? Is it gonna be on the agenda if the agenda has been created for the next meeting?
I mean, if you want to get it placed on the upcoming agenda,
And give a deadline, like a week, or like.
you could say such submissions must be placed with the with the recording. What's the recording time frame?
Pardon?
What's the recording time frame?
The recording time frame is 24 hours.
So like say 3 business days before the meeting.
24 hours in accordance with state statutes must, yeah. All items, all requests to have items placed on an agenda must be given to the, and I think it says it somewhere in this, but all requests, we can clarify it in this section, all requests to have items placed on the agenda must follow FOI. Is it FOI? Is that an FOI or is that?
It is
Yeah.
FOI.
All FOI
State.
requirements. So at the end, I would just say all requests to have items placed on the agenda must be submitted to the recording secretary in accordance with FOI requirements.
You move it? I'll move that.
Moved by Mr. Cormier,
Second.
second by Mr. Bedell. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That's unanimously. All right. Next.
That's it for me.
That's it. Anybody else? All right, me. Some of these are smaller, and some of these are questions. So on page 1, numbers 8, 9, and 10 seem to be very similar to number 3. And I'm not opposed to leaving them or changing them. I just wanted to point it out and see if we wanted to clarify those.
I'm sorry, what page?
Page 1. And it's numbers 8, 9, and 10 are similar to number 3.
There.
No? I mean, it's a question, so I just wanted to.
I don't think so. I think number 3 is the oversight of, all of them really fall under what the personnel committee does.
Okay, so we leave that. Page 8. All right, so I think we need some clarification on this. So at the top, it says the Board of Ed shall consist of 7 members, each of whom shall be an elector of the town and shall be elected at a regular town meeting for 4-year term commencing upon their swearing in. Just for clarification, it should say on the 2nd Monday of December following their election as per town charter 4.4.1. When we were going through this, it was just very confusing when that meeting, when the term started and how it began, so I'd like to add that there. And then on the first paragraph, it says that the Board of Ed shall recognize at a regular meeting or special meeting called for that purpose. And I think it should say, the Board of Ed shall recognize at a special meeting called for that purpose on the evening of the swearing in. You know, we define when our board meetings are in our bylaws and our policies, so I think we should define when this meeting is. So those are the two. And then just in the first paragraph, just at the end, the new officers of the board shall take office upon this election. I think the word should be this added.
Meaning that December.
Yeah, because it talks about the election in the paragraph. The December, the
Upon
organization.
upon swearing in. Upon election or upon swearing in?
Upon the organizational meeting of the Board of Education.
Yeah. So first you get elected, then you get sworn in on the second Monday of December, and then you have your organizational meeting, and then at that organizational meeting, the new officers take place upon this election, which it defines above. So I would make a motion to approve that.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously.
You gonna get through that?
I'm okay with it.
You gonna get through that for the next few months?
I'm still like,
You almost got my name down, so.
I'm
we'll give
still
you-
forgetting
I'm
names.
gonna put a sticker here that says abstention. Okay, what's next?
Okay, so just down, and we can leave it again to this question, but on that same page, A, number 3, that is also stated on, page 11, number 4. Again, we can leave it in, because it's in time, it's where the, you know, I don't know. I think it's pertinent to have there, but it is redundant, so.
It is, but one's the definition of the vice chair and one's the definition of the organization of the board. I think it belongs in both.
Okay. Page 10. So just under number 4, on chairperson, it says appoint board committees, and I think it should say and chairpersons, subject to board approval. Page 10, number 4 under chairperson. At the top. And committee chairs. So it says appoint board committees subject to board approval. I think it should say appoint board committees and chairpersons subject to board approval. And it's just, some of this stuff is just to have it in there so it's clear, so it's not, it doesn't get contentious down the road. 12, 13.
Do you wanna take a vote on that?
Oh, sure. I make a motion to have chairperson, second by Mr. Cormier. All those, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion, abstentions? Motion passed unanimously. All right, next one would be page 13. And I just, so this is for the recording secretary. So the second sentence is repeated in the third paragraph right below it. Will have the primary responsibility for accurate records of the proceedings of the board. And the sentence below says the recording secretary shall be responsible for accurate readings of the proceedings of the board. So I think we can remove that second sentence.
Are you gonna keep the including preparations of minutes and?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Remove the
Oh,
second
just the
sentence.
second. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the second.
Second
Which is the
paragraph.
first time,
Okay.
it says
Got it.
the recording secretary.
And then in the third where that is, so starting at including preparation of minutes, I wrote and agendas of board meetings, the preservation of reports of committees, and forwarding communications addressed to the board. Including preparation of minutes, agendas, updates of bylaws and policies. I wrote in there committees, and that was it that I had on there. So it would read, the board will appoint a recording secretary who have the primary responsibility for accurate records of the proceedings of the board, including preparation of minutes and agendas, updates of bylaws and policies, of board meetings, the preservation of reports of committees and communications addressed to the board, reports to the chairperson, and reports of the superintendent. And so I will make that motion. Oh wait, I'll do one more. And then under taping and recording, the Board of Ed public meetings shall be recorded, and I wrote videotaped, and live streamed. And that's something that we've started, Lou's been doing for us, but I think it should be.
I don't think all of them are live streamed though, are they? No, just the main meetings and the finance meetings are live streamed, and I think everything else is just recorded.
Okay.
Correct. So I think we need to delineate that, because I don't think we want the live streaming of all.
Okay, so Board of Ed public meetings shall be recorded and videotaped. Board and finance committees shall be live streamed.
Board of Education and finance meetings
And finance committee meetings
shall be recorded
shall be
and live streamed. All other committee meetings will be recorded for public viewing.
Board of Ed public meetings shall be recorded. In addition, Board of Ed meetings and finance committee meetings shall be.
I think Kristen.
Okay. Is that what, did you say?
What
that?
I just said.
Okay. Is that what you did?
I just said.
Exactly that?
Yeah.
Okay.
In a clearer way.
Okay.
Pretty close.
Okay. All right, so, I would make that motion to make those changes on page 13.
Second.
Second by Mr. O'Brien. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passed unanimously. On page 18. So under understanding committees, and again, this is a question, at the bottom of number 8, the superintendent may serve as ex officio on all committees. I just thought it should be moved to 9132A. Underneath, it says the enumeration and qualifications of committee members will be set by the chair. I think it should be placed under that line. It makes it more prominent. I think right now it's kind of hidden in the text. So 9132A is page 16, and the sentence that I'm talking about is on page 18. And it's just moving it to a different place on the agenda. It's not changing the language. Just makes it more prominent, I think. Is that all right?
Putting it up further in the,
So
We
it
are
would,
16.
it would be, I guess, the third paragraph or so.
before duties.
And I don't think we need a motion for that, just because it's not a substantive change. Page 21. So on page 21, number 5, it says, orientation, in addition, the chairperson shall schedule within 30 days following the election an orientation with the board attorney. I think it should say following the swearing in, only because 30 days, you're not even sworn in at that point, so there is no chairperson. So it should say within 30 days.
So following the swearing.
Following the organizational meeting.
I did swearing in, but okay, following the organizational meeting.
If there's a massive snowstorm and the swearing in doesn't happen, then it's the organizational meeting that's gonna dictate.
Okay. Well, yeah, go ahead.
Because regardless of whether a swearing in happens, they have to have an organizational meeting.
So then on page 22, just a question. It says all in and out of state shall be authorized prior to the event by the Board of Ed, or any board member seeking a reimbursement must have prior approval. The next sentence below says in state and out of state for pre-approved board reimbursement in-state for pre-approved board duties and functions. Board members do not need to seek Board of Ed approval to travel out of state for educational opportunities or learning opportunities. They just can't get reimbursed for it. You know, so it says all in-areas shall be authorized prior to the event by the Board of Ed. Now, anybody in this room can go to anything they want at any time. They just, so I think that sentence should, I think that whole, the second two sentences should go, because it's, the part about reimbursement is iterated in the lower one.
Number 2 is a reimbursement.
Yeah, and then so I would make a motion to remove the second two sentences.
I wouldn't remove that, because specifically when we go to CAVE or CAPS and those things are paid for straight through the board, we're not seeking, we're not paying for that up front and then being reimbursed for it. We are, Teresa's booking that, you know what I mean? So, but we still need to have that travel approved, so that's different than a reimbursement.
But it says, the second one says, board members authorized to attend education out of state shall be reimbursed upon possibility. You could even eliminate the out of state on that one. Board members authorized to attend educational conferences shall be reimbursed. And you could even,
It still says reimbursed, so to your point, we're not getting reimbursed, we're just getting the approval to go and booking the, it gets
Yeah,
booked
all
through.
in and out of state travel needs to be approved either way, whether we're being reimbursed or not.
yeah,
Yes.
I can go out of
Because
state.
we're not being reimbursed, Teresa's booking it. It still needs to be approved.
I can go on my own.
You can go on your own, but that has nothing to do with bylaws, you're going on your own.
No, but it just says all in and out of state travel shall be authorized prior to the event by the Board of Ed. I don't need authorization from the Board of Ed to travel out of state to go to an educational conference. I can go on my own. It's almost saying you can't do it, you know, that's the way I read it.
You're saying you just need approval if you're looking for reimbursement.
Yeah. If it said reimbursement for all in-state and out-of-state travel shall be authorized prior to the event by the Board of Ed.
I think more likely than that should stay in, and it should say, any travel with regard to the Board of Ed shall be authorized prior to the event. If you're going to an outside education conference for your own means or for your own knowledge, that's one thing. But in the case where the group of us are invited to CAVE or CAPS or an overnight conference, or, you know, Hartford for the day or whatever it is, then I think that travel, when in the case we're all invited, that travel or that event needs to be approved by the board if there's going to be reimbursement.
Well, but I'm not talking about, that's not what this sentence says. It doesn't talk about reimbursement. It just says all in-state and out-of-state travel should be authorized. It's not talking about, it's about remuneration. It's not under the.
That's what I'm saying, revise it to say, all in-state and out-of-state travel with regard to the Board of Education.
But I
Should be
can,
authorized prior.
I can still go without the
All
authorization.
reimbursable.
All
In-state.
reimbursable, hey, that's
In-state and
fine.
out-of-state travel.
That's fine, yep. All reimbursable in-state and out-of-state travel shall be authorized prior to the event, prior to the Board of Ed.
All reimbursable or board covered travel, covered state travel, in or out of state.
I think reimbursable means it's board covered, right?
Yeah, so,
I think the only reason I said is because she's thinking, like, if Teresa's making the arrangements for us.
We're not getting reimbursed.
We're not getting reimbursed.
We're not getting reimbursed, but it does require approval also.
We're not trying to make it harder for us to book these things. or-
No,
Yeah.
not at all. I'm like, if you're going to California for a conference on education, by all means, head off and have fun, but you're not getting reimbursed for it, you know?
California is really nice.
Huh?
We deserve it. It's very nice.
so then can we just add the word all reimbursable in-state and out-of-state shall be approved?
All in-state, all in-state, in and out of state reimbursable travel shall be authorized prior to the event by the Board of Education.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, motion by Mr. Cormier, second by Mr. Bedell. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passed unanimously. Number 26. It says this in a number of places, the formal adopted policy shall be, and wherever we have by a majority vote, I think it should say, and there's a couple spots here on 26 where, I think they should say, the formal vote of policy, majority vote of 4 of the members of the Board of Ed.
Yeah, John made it
What do
very.
you wanna call it? Just call it a majority of a quorum?
No, not the majority of a quorum.
Can't say the majority of the quorum.
So
The
on-
affirmative vote of 4 was very, very,
Yeah, but so on page 4, it clarifies what a majority vote is. It says that a majority of 4, or 4 affirmative votes. So we don't have to change that, but I don't know, if just for clarification. So 29, again, the same thing. But under special meetings, it says, and just point this out, whenever is deemed necessary, or by request of 3 members of the Board of Ed, that's state statute. Again, in the first sentence, it talks about a majority, but we cover that. Page 31, almost done. So under non-meetings, I guess, under the bullet points, it says there's no executive session privilege for discussion of collective bargaining. I just had a note that we should move it up because the page before and above non-meetings covers executive session. I think that section should be moved into executive session as opposed to a non-meeting.
no, that wouldn't go under executive sessions. Executive sessions are considered part of meeting. Non-meetings are like collective bargaining.
Like when we go to meet with the union and
Right.
do your negotiations, so that's not a
That's a
meeting.
different scenario.
It's not recorded.
Yeah, I mean, I think you
Can't
can
be
go.
recorded, plus we, you know, we, we caucus during,
Yeah.
during it, you know,
Wow.
the bargaining agreement, and then the
But-
board of, the administrative side.
But because it starts out, there's no specific executive session for discussion of collaborative, and then at the end it says, hour of discussion of records, da-da-da. The respective is permitted in executive session, provided that such document, but this talks about non-meetings, which talks about forums and other things. This talks specifically about executive sessions, which is the entirety of the section before. I mean, I just thought it
I
was
said
more,
you wanna move that piece.
I just wanna move it up above the
That
non-meetings.
one piece, that
Yeah,
one paragraph?
Yeah, just because I think it's an executive session
Sure.
commentary, not a non-meeting commentary.
Sure.
So we don't need to vote for it then, if everybody's okay with it? Teresa, if we could move that up into the executive session section, page 36. So we already did that. Page 39. We can leave that one alone. Page 43, the last one. So page 43 talks about policy review and evaluation. I thought that was declared in our policy committee duties, so I don't know that we need that page. But we could leave it if, again,
I think it's stating that the board needs to follow through all its policies.
I mean, it was a question, so. Leave it? Leave it, okay. Anybody else have any comments? No?
I have one.
Okay.
After reviewing this and like under the secretary, recording secretary, it says that the board, or the
What
superintendent,
page?
hold on.
13.
Okay. It says that the superintendent provides a space for the recording secretary here at the board so that they can prepare documents and stuff. Is it possible to maybe add that under page 22 for our board members to have a space that they could come prepare for meetings, print documents that they may need, or caucus with their caucus
Not
here at the
individual
board?
space, like one space here. I know it's not usually been done, but I think the council has, those in the council have.
I mean, so any documentation anybody needs, they would go to our recording secretary?
yeah.
Because as of right now, the way it works is we kind of do it on our own time with our own resources. So we'll print our own things, etc., if we need something. So if we had a space here, it wouldn't be out of pocket. We wouldn't be renting a space or going to a
We'd
restaurant.
be using
Yeah.
resources here.
Yeah.
I don't think that's allowed. We don't receive any.
It's not, I'm not looking for compensation, but we shouldn't be out of pocket for printing stuff or preparing for a meeting.
Well, and again, any printing you needed the request should go to the recording secretary, and she should print it for you. I mean, I have a printer at home that I use, and I don't mind printing just because whatever. But if I have a big, Teresa, I call, with the big, 9 8x14s, she always prints for me, or if there's a number of pages, or I try. So I think any recording, any printing should be done.
We have multiple conference rooms here, so I think just sign those out through Teresa. We don't have any extra space down here, right? So like, it can't just like come up with another little space that's just set aside other than an office for a clerk. But the conference spaces, we have 2 upstairs that you could sign out through Teresa for any meeting, like preparation time. But I don't think that would be a problem at all, Mike, because we have space. So if like a group of you wanted to meet, so you're not a quorum, but
Yeah.
a group of you that wanted to meet, you could sign that out.
Well, and right now, we as Republicans could meet up there.
Right.
And not violate, there's 3 Democrats, so it wouldn't violate quorum rules, but 4 Republicans could meet up there and not violate
Under caucus rules.
under caucus rules.
Yep.
And if the numbers change, whatever.
I think when you get a clerk, your clerk should be doing all your printing. So
Right.
it would be hard for you guys to anyway each other's codes and stuff on our printers, but you could just tell the clerk what you would like to print, and if you guys needed space, you would just sign out one of those 3 conference rooms we have.
I mean, right now, it's a big asset that Teresa works here, but in the future, whoever the new secretary might be. Okay.
We'll be
I
here.
have a space for them.
I just, my only concern about that would be people taking advantage of it and creating inconveniences or taking up space that the board, that the administration
I
or the
think
staff.
because you guys do so much stuff in the evening, Mike, it doesn't conflict with what we do. If you guys, called during the day and wanted something at 10 o'clock and it was full, we'd simply tell you that the room's already being used. Right, we're already having interviews in there, or we're already doing something, but because you all have jobs, when you do meet as groups, it's in the evening, you do very little here. I would just say you need to be respectful of when Steve closes his building.
Right.
So then can we just say and maybe not even add it to bylaws, at the discretion of the superintendent, board members may request space to,
Maybe request conference.
conference space for meetings that do not violate FOI requirements.
We have nice conference rooms, so.
I mean, do you wanna add that in there, Joe, or?
I was thinking it would be a good spot on that, page 22 when we were just going over the reimbursement and stuff, because it's not reimbursement, but it's up to you. I mean, we can discuss that. I just thought it would be something that, we could offer to people, because as of right now, like if I wanna go out, I'm gonna have to go to a coffee shop or have them at my house, and that, yeah.
And the other thing I would be concerned about would be, okay, if we as board members wanna come in and meet, but I don't think we should have the right or the ability to invite the public in, because it's a secured building, without, I don't know.
Well, if we're signing it out, I mean, we would put the people that you're signing it out to,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if it needs to be in bylaws, but I would just simply say, work through the superintendent to book the conference space for caucus pre-meeting registration. I mean, I think it's perfectly reasonable and free. before a meeting, it's right here.
We can call that an administrative policy.
Yeah.
The board may, at the discretion of the superintendent, allow board members to use conference space for.
And again, we're only gonna say no if it's already booked.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? All right, hearing no discussion, I'll look for a motion to approve the bylaws as amended.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Dow, seconded by Mr. Kennedy. Any further discussion? We'll go with it.
I just have a question. You said this was reviewed by the attorneys. Was that just John Florek in the preparation, or did you have Floyd look it over?
Floyd, yeah.
Did he offer suggestions, and can you send us the copies of whatever he suggested?
He looked through it and he said everything looked good. There were a couple of there were a couple of things that we didn't change because they were state statute, like the agenda, changing the agenda is 3. I had written down 4 members. He said 3 because that's state statute, and then there was another section in there with a number, which was 3, I think. I can't remember which it was, but that was state statute as well. So, but he said other than that, everything looked okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Roll call vote. Ms. Carol Fabian?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Ms. Vidal?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Cormier?
Yes.
Ms. D'Angelo Powers?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. So just to wrap this whole thing up, we've been going at this for about a year and a half. You know, I wanted to especially thank Ms. D'Angelo Powers, Ms. Bedell, Mr. Florek. I was a member of the committee. We spent a lot of long hours going through this, reviewing it. A lot of thoughtful insight went into it. Mr. Cormier sat in this with a couple of meetings, and everybody's input was taken into it. And I think this is a much better document now. It's much clearer, and I think it lays out some of the details in a more succinct manner. So I really want to thank everybody for all their time and effort. It's been a huge task amongst all the other things, and hopefully it'll help guide the next boards in a more concise manner. So
Thanks for numbering the pages too, it makes it
yes.
so much better.
Yeah, and we got to work on our policy book for that
Yeah.
too. So we had also had on here review applicants and next steps for board clerk position. I think I forwarded you guys a letter. Ms. Lakutis has decided to focus on life, family balance. I think that's the order. So she's going to be stepping back from some of her responsibilities as the recording secretary. She will become the full-time secretary for the superintendent, and we will have a separate secretary who takes on the majority of those responsibilities. We will, and I'm sure our new secretary will be leaning heavily on Ms. Lakutis and her knowledge, and she's been a great asset to us. She has some absolute long-term knowledge, and I know I have relied on it, and I know other board members who've asked her questions, and she's always had the answer, which has been amazingly helpful for all of us. So I want to thank you again. I did it at the last meeting, but thank you. But this is and it's, I think she's crazy because she works way too much. So I'm glad she's going to have some time to herself, and that's why we've started that process. We've received a number of applications today. We've posted it. If anybody knows somebody, the application is on the Apple Chat.
It's up on the Stratford Public Schools webpage under employment opportunities.
And share the link with somebody you know. We'll wait. Maybe we'll see how these go. It's July. I don't know that I want to wait a month.
As it
It
does,
does.
August
It
18th.
does, yeah. I would at least give it till August 18th, because since I shared it with you guys, you finally have applicants, so I would let them keep coming in.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we need to give it some time.
Yeah.
You know someone Teresa's gonna cover,
She
will
will
meet
cover,
her? Okay.
and we will compensate her.
You're stuck with me for a little while.
I just wanna make sure that, you know. at
She
some point-
has
I'm not
agreed.
going anywhere. Okay.
Ms. Lakutis has agreed to cover and train whoever you end up hiring following this. In her gracious way, she always is, so she will cover her until then, and then she will train, and get stuff.
So we're gonna review at our next board meeting, our August board meeting.
Let's look at the time frame. I don't wanna lose good people because we wait too long, but I don't wanna schedule, so and I wanted to have the whole board involved in the decision, because it is the board.
Yeah, we have to wait till the application
So
closes.
the
and-
following week,
Yeah.
that Monday, the following week is our board meeting, so.
Right.
So, yeah, if the timing's appropriate, we'll do it at our board meeting, and if for some reason, it has to be sooner, I'll reach out to everybody and get a date that's.
And if you would all like copies of the applications as of the 18th, we can make sure HR sends them to you, so you have time to review, so it can be efficient.
That would be great.
All right, that being said, look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Welcome back, Bill.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? We have one abstention. Thank you again, everybody, for all your time and
Just
effort.
for fun.
Welcome back, Bill.
Thank you.